Hey guys, welcome to Mike versus Gadget. I am Mike, aka Mr. Gadget ATL, and this is my channel. I've decided to just try the YouTube thing for the first time and see if, I can help people out there with this tech thing. I'm into flipping PCs and pretty much everything that's tech related. Computers are my thing. I've been in the IT industry for years, and right now I've gotten the flipping PC bug. I've watched a lot of different channels, and right now I think is a time to see if I can get into this game and really make a dent. Here's the first build that I'm gonna work with from my channel. Just some parts that I've accumulated just recently, and I just want to go over kind of where I got them from and how much I paid for them so that you can see that there's definitely value out there if you just take your time and, you know, look on Marketplace. If you got a Micro Center, like I said before, check the open box. So right now I have a Montech X3 RGB case. I got this case for $40 open box at Micro Center. It was basically new. I think someone bought it, decided they didn't want to use it, and brought it back. Next, I have a Power Color RX6600 right here. Got that for $85 off of Marketplace. You can barely get anything under $100 that's going to be decent FPS, and you'll be able to definitely do esports, some AAA at medium settings with this RX6600 8 gig. So I think that was definitely a great buy. I have a 16 gig kit of Forza DDR4 3200 megahertz, $20 on the Marketplace. Right here was an awesome deal. So what I have here is a Gigabyte B450M DSH3 Wi-Fi with a Ryzen 3600 in it. And what I paid for it was nothing in the grand scheme of things. I bought a lot of old laptops and I fix them up. I use parts, SSDs, different things out of the laptops. So I had an old Dell Latitude that I fixed up, updated, put some more memory in it. I added a 512 gig SSD out of a different one, cleaned it up, even trade for it. So I was able to get a motherboard and processor swap. I'd say probably for 50 to 60 bucks worth of, time and trouble. So definitely a good deal. I also have, you know, came up on a lot of different pieces of equipment through trades. So don't be scared to offer up trades on Marketplace. You never know what someone might be interested in. I've just thrown offers out there. What's the worst that they can say is no. So it's good to just throw it out there. If you got something of some value that might work for something you want, just throw it out there. They may say no, they might be interested, or they may say, hey, I'm interested, but you may have to come up with a couple bucks. It is what it is. I would say. All right. Also, I have the Deepcool GAMX AG400, brand new cooler. Had caught it on a sale at Micro Center for $20. Then I also have the PowerSpec 500 watt white power supply. It's 80 plus, probably tier C or less, but it's a decent little power supply. Paid $40 for it on an open box at Micro Center. Also, I have 512 NVMe Gen 3 SSD that I pulled out of a broken laptop that I use in this build. I mean, it's just some parts I've accumulated. I'll be able to throw a pretty nice build together. And I mean, I just feel like it will be a good gaming PC. It'll look good. And I probably paid less than $250 for all the parts. I'll give a breakdown of the parts and what I paid and everything at the end of the video, but just saying, if you just continue to scour and search, you will find some good deals, and then you'll be able to put a good PC together, and at the end of the day, you'll make some money. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll get to building and move forward from there. All right. All right, guys, so I'm going to start the build here for this budget mid-range build that I'm going to put together from the parts that I have accumulated from Micro Center and Marketplace. First and foremost, like I said, I have this Gigabyte. It's the B450M DS3H Wi-Fi. Pretty good looking motherboard here. It's got the 4 DIMM slots. So we got room for some upgrades if you needed a little bit more memory. We got some RGB headers, which is good. Plenty of expansion slots. So it's got the built-in Wi-Fi right there. I mean, for what I paid for it, which was little or nothing, it's a really good option. Then I also have this the 3600 Ryzen. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's the Ryzen 3600, Ryzen 5. It's like the king of budget CPUs right now. So, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that put into the slot. So you want to line up the little triangles on the edge of the socket. Get it seated in there real good, and then lock it down. I've already mounted the bracket for the CPU cooler. So on here, the back plate was already on the motherboard. So you would just do the little standoffs and screw it in. Right here is the deep cool cooler that we'll use. See, it's brand new. $20. I was able to get a nice little load of thermal paste from Amazon. Got like 10 of these little tubes of thermal grease by Mugo. Never heard of that brand, but it serves the purpose of what I need it for. We got 10 of these for like $8, so it allows me to, do a decent amount of builds. So we're gonna put the thermal grease on there and make sure you got some. All right, so got that thermal paste on there. Next, we're gonna put the memory in. So we're gonna do it in slots 2 and 4. So you want to make sure you're lining them up correctly. Hear that snap? Well, they're seated well. Okay. All right, so next, we're gonna get this M.2 put in. Get that out of the way. After that's put in, we can go ahead and mount our cooler. Make sure you peel that warning label off. You don't want to have that on there So mounting the cooler, want to make sure that the fan is on the right side, you know, so this intaking and blowing air through it toward the back of the case. That's where it's going to be the exhaust fan. So you want to make sure you get this lined up. There's 2 screw brackets here that you'll line up with the cooler. Get that on there. Go ahead and screw that down on each side. Just put a little pressure and twist that on there. On each side of the case. Make sure it's screwed down well. It'll stop once it's totally tight. Alrighty. Okay. And go ahead and take the ARGB header twist ties off. So right here, you're gonna have your fan header that's gonna go right here to the CPU header. Get that plugged in to the CPU header. We'll get that nice and tucked away, out of the way for now. And once we get the case going, we'll decide what we're gonna do with this. But most likely, there's a LED RGB header right here at the top of the case. Most likely I'll go ahead and plug that in now. And if I need to make some adjustments later, I will once it's in the case. But that's the system platform set up right now. So we'll move on to getting the case set up. All right, so I'm going to disconnect these Molex connectors for a little bit while I'm building, so to give me some room to do a little bit better cable management. Let's see. Twist ties are rough. Ooh. All right, so I got that. So those are there. All right, so pretty simple case though. You got your USB header, HD audio, USB 3, front panel connectors, and then all your fan headers. All right. Let's see. Cool thing about this case is there's 6 fans included, which is awesome. All right, so first things first, your IO shield. That's one of the drawbacks of buying things secondhand, is a lot of times you don't get an IO shield. So getting one included with this setup was pretty cool. So we'll make sure that gets put in first and foremost. This case is pretty flimsy. Like I said, beggars can't be choosers. It's flexing when I pushed it in on the IO shield, but all right, so I got that in there nice and sturdy. Alrighty, so that's pretty cool. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fans, a lot of airflow. And we got the open little area where you be able to see the CPU, so it's good I got a white one, so it'll match really well. Alright, so next, let's go ahead and mount the power supply next, because then that'll allow me to route cables the way I want to route them. It's a brand new power supply. It's open docks for some reason. All which is really crazy. Like I said, Power Spec is the in-house brand of Micro Center, so you get a lot of Power Spec power supplies, and they have some pretty decent Power Spec pre-builts as well. Alrighty, so said nothing special. 500 watts. Yeah, 450 watts on the 12 volt. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. So what I'm gonna do is take this loose here. Slide the power supply with the fan facing downward in place. Get my screws. Go ahead and line this up. Get one of the screws started, and then makes it easier for the rest of them. It's always good to have a magnetic tipped screwdriver as well when you're building PCs, because a lot of times you're gonna drop screws or just lining things up. It's a lot easier when you got a magnetic tipped screwdriver. So go ahead and get that screwed in. Alrighty. Now we got a power supply installed. Got the IO shield in. One thing I like to do is to make sure, check the power supply cables and see what all we have. So we got our CPU cable, which is going to go up here. So I go ahead and just get it out of the way. We got our 24 pin. Just put it around here somewhere, get it out of the way for a minute. Right, and we have PCI cable for your graphics card. Get that over there, and then your Molex and your SATA connectors. So we'll have those off to the side. Alrighty. So let's take this around. And what I want to do here, first and foremost, this is one of the most difficult things if you don't do it first, is plug in this CPU 8 pin. I like to plug it in before I put the motherboard in the case. And that was one of the reasons why I like mounting the CPU cooler, because you can hold it and it just gives you something to hold on to. Oh, I'm trying to put it in upside down, making my life harder than what it is. So get that put in there. On the whole struggle bus, talking about. There you go. All right. So I got that in there. So next, I'm gonna try to line this motherboard up. set that up. Make sure got it nice and lined up with the back plate. Alright. Looks like all the screw holes are nice and lined up. Alright, so got one of the screws in place, holding the motherboard in place, so I can go ahead and line the rest of them up. So let's go ahead and get this installed. Okay. And you have to make sure you're using the right motherboard screws, or you're gonna have a tough time screwing this thing down. There's so many options of little flat head and pan head screws, so just have to make sure you're doing the right ones. And last motherboard screws in place. Alrighty, so next, let's pull this 24 pin through. Got it rotated the wrong direction. Sure the connection is nice and it's in there good, because if not, that thing is not gonna work. Alrighty, so right now about halfway there, looking good. Alright guys, so my battery died on my camera and while I was charging it up, I did a little bit of work. So I'm working on getting these cables managed a little bit better back here. Get little things tidied up, you know, before I put it together. And then I also went ahead and plugged in the couple of the connectors in the front. So I got my USB 3, the front panel connectors, USB, and the HD audio. Got that all plugged in. Pull through my GPU power so that we can go ahead, once I get everything else together, I'm gonna go ahead and pop that GPU in, and then we'll be good to go. Get ready to load Windows and test this thing out. So let me get these cables together, try to make them as tidy as I can back here. I'm not a professional, I won't say professional, but I'm just not the most aesthetic person when it comes to building a PC. I'm more about value. You know, if I can get some value out of building this, you know, for the least amount of money, and it still looks good, then I did my job. It's up to the person that buys the PC. They want to judge it up a little bit more. I'm giving it to you at the rock bottom price. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck these down up in here. Right at about there. Let me see. Actually, I need the plug. I need the plug in. Molex, so I have to leave one of the Molexes somewhat loose. Do that. Put that in. Get that down in there. And back up in there and make sure it's not touching anything. And be able to get that right there, and that'll go on. What I'll do is take a couple of these here. See if I got a tie down somewhere. Slide that through there. Let's try to make it a little tidy and make it easier to put the back panel back on. It's not gonna be the best, but it won't be the worst either. Tuck that up in there. Trim that back. Alrighty, so then I'm glad we don't have to really deal with SSDs and hard drives as much anymore. It makes life so much easier when it comes to building. Right here. Just gonna tighten that up a little bit. Alright. Should be able to get that back panel on there. Let's check it out. Alright. So let's try to get this back panel on here. Oh yeah. Easy peasy, fits like a glove. Like that. Put that screw in. I know I just did one of the cardinal rules is don't cable manage and close it up before you test it. Let's keep our fingers crossed, guys, because I'm gonna be highly upset if I try to power this thing on and I don't get anything. Alrighty. Dust filter on up there. That's good. So it's looking good right now. Alright. I'm gonna work on pop this GPU in. I'm gonna remove this panel here. So I believe it's these two here that need to come out. I'd say the only thing I don't like about this build is the color of the whites are different. So we got this bright white case and fans, but the cabling and the cooler are like an off-white cream. But hey, what are you gonna do? Like I said, it's a budget bill, so here's what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide this on into its home. Make sure I get it lined up. Actually, let me lay this case down. Be easier. Get the GPU in. Alrighty, got that in there. Put these screws back in. Cinch that close. Pull that up. Ready. Alright, so then we're just gonna lay this A pin. But what I'm gonna do is give me a zip tie. I'm gonna cinch that tight so that looks a little better. Alrighty, so get this zip tie. Cinch it around the back of this cable. Just kind of just get it out of the way. That'll look better. You'll barely be able to see it in the back. Trim that. Alright, so that lined up. Get that plugger on in. Alrighty. I think we're looking pretty good there. So far, so good. All right, I'm gonna grab a monitor, keyboard, and mouse and test her out, see what we got. Be right back. Alrighty guys, so I got her plugged in and a monitor. Got my trusty little Logitech wireless keyboard plugged in just to do some testing and everything, and let's turn her on. Let's see what she gives us. So power's already on, so I see the red light on the cooler. That's a good sign. Oh man, look at that. Look at that rainbow puke. But I'll take it. The RGB sales. I don't know why, but people love the RGB. Tuck her in right there. Get that all tucked in. Wow, look at that. I already had Windows loaded on this SSD. Like I said, it came from another build. So it should be ready to go. So go ahead and log in. This is awesome. This is one of the smoothest builds I've had so far. Thing came right on up. Let me go. Just check the task manager, make sure everything's showing up like it's supposed to. Alright, so CPU, I got my Ryzen 5 3600, 6 core. Uh-oh, what did I do? 16 gigabytes of DDR4. It's showing 2400 megahertz, so I have to go into the BIOS and see if there's a XMP profile I need to enable. Got my 512 NVMe showing up. Look at here, RX6600, 8 gigabytes. This is awesome. I am ready to go. So what I'll do is I'm gonna reboot. I'm gonna go into the BIOS, see if I can load up the XMP profile, and then I'm gonna come back and download some games and just see what an old girl can do. Okay guys, so I'm back in the BIOS. So went under the advanced memory settings and see extreme memory profile. So it was disabled, so it was only doing the memory frequencies at 2400 megahertz on that memory. So there's a profile, so you do profile 1. All right, and it bumped it up to 3200. So get up out of here, go ahead and save that setup. The computer should reboot. We'll get 3200 megahertz from that memory, which will help out in gaming, especially with Ryzen 3rd gen processors. The faster the memory, the better things work for it. It's coming back up. Alright. Alright, so it looks like I gotta download some drivers for this motherboard. So I'll be back. I'll go ahead and get this all the drivers updated, and then I'll download some games and we'll see what we can get. All right, I'll see you guys in a little bit.
All right, guys. So overall, I think this was a pretty good build. I put some time in, tested it out with Fortnite, ran pretty good. Um, getting 200 plus FPS. I mean, you can't ask for more for. I would say this is more of a mid-range build. Overall, um, these parts you can find on Marketplace and eBay and Amazon. They're they're pretty available. So we'll just keep searching. Like I said, M&M, Marketplace, Micro Center is my go-to. So I just keep scouring. I'm gonna put the prices of everything so you can get a breakdown of the total bill cost, and just see where we go from there. Once I list this and get it sold, I'll come back on the next video and let you guys know what it actually sold for. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna list the price for it quite yet, but in the next video, I'll let you know what I listed it for, show you some pictures of the listing, and just tell you what I sold it for so you can get an idea of what's available and how you can make some money, building PCs out of used parts, new parts, or whatever you can get your hands on. But I just want to say thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel so I can get to those 1,000 subscribers. It'll definitely help, make the content that much better. Like the video, share, and until next time, peace out.